All right, here we go. Rolling sound. Quiet. Action.
You see, the hustle that keeps the lights on isn't the same hustle that'll build the empire. You have to keep striving for more. Stop listening to the chatter and focus on reaching greatness. And no matter what, keep making bangers. I am Josh Russell. What is going on? Okay, let me just first start off by saying you guys are the first ones to see the new webinar intro. So I'm excited. That was a little bit of work in progress to make it happen, and it came through at the last minute. So I'm glad that I was able to show you guys my new intro. As you can hear, my voice is still a little bit gone from Imaging USA last week, but I am going to do my best to push through because I'm excited to show you my workflow with Evoto. I'm going to give it like 30 seconds just to kind of chat with people, to get more people in here that have signed up. There were a lot of people that signed up. They're still pumping in. I see Argentina in the house, Don from Illinois. We have Amy from Canada. Let me know where you're from. I'm excited to see all of you. I'm excited to teach all of you, show you some things, show you some new stuff, a little bit of tips and tricks, and walk you through an entire workflow with me from start to finish on how I edit using Lightroom, Evoto AI, and Photoshop. Now, I want to start off, like I said, my name is Josh Russell. I'm a professional portrait photographer from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I also work in Orlando, Florida, as well as travel the nation, teaching at workshops, webinars, seminars, conferences, and pretty much anywhere that people will listen to me talk. Hence, the voice is gone. I was at Imaging USA in Dallas last week with Evoto and with my other sponsors, Westcott, and I was doing a lot of teaching. So the voice is gone. I was worried that I was going to have to push this back. What's going on, Pittsburgh? How's it going? But I am here and I am ready to go. Over the next hour-ish time, maybe a little bit longer, I'm going to walk you through, like I said, some of the new things that Evoto has going on, some of the things that I enjoy, and then an actual workflow on how I do it. This was one of the questions that I had a lot when I was doing my lecture at the Evoto AI booth was, how do you integrate it into your workflow if you've been a photographer for 10 years and this program's only a couple years old or a little over 2-ish years old? That's what I want to walk you through in this is I'm going to walk you through how I've implemented it. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not an Evoto AI employee. I am a photographer, a portrait photographer. I am an ambassador for Evoto AI, but I am not an employee. They did not pay me to make this. They honestly didn't even know I was going to do it until I got a hold of them and said, hey, I'm going to do a webinar. I hope you guys are okay with that because I'm going to do it. But I am not being paid to be here. I'm not being paid to persuade you to buy it or get it, or if you already have it, to buy more credits. That's not my goal in this. My goal is to show you how I use it because I really do think this is a game-changing product. I really think that this is something that we can implement as portrait photographers and as photographers in general that will help us speed up our workflow, that will help us make things more efficient, and honestly give us a little bit more free time back because a lot of this deep retouching and stuff that I do, it takes a long time. So to be able to do it in a matter of minutes instead of a matter of hours is just absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. Once again, thank you all for being here. For the next couple minutes, I'm just going to kind of talk about what I'm going to do in this and who I am, because a lot of you don't know who I am. A lot of you have never seen me before. So I just want to kind of talk about that. And then we're actually going to get into the program and I'm going to show you these tips and tricks and techniques. So like I said, I am a portrait photographer. I have been doing this for a long time and I make what's called bangers. What is a banger? What is a banger photo? I want to talk about it. And what a banger photo is it's that absolute showstopper photo. The way that I explain it is this is one of those photos that the minute you take it on the back of your camera, you absolutely know this is the one you want to show people. You're turning your camera around, you're showing the client, you're showing the people. This is the one that's going to get tons of engagement. This is the one that the lighting looks good, the composition looks good, the subject looks good, everything comes together. These are the photos that when you take them and you share them, somebody's going to be like, dang, that's a fire photo. That is what I want to shoot. So this is where Evoto AI comes into play, is because I have been doing these banger photos for a very, very long time, and they used to take me a very, very long time to edit. When I found Evoto and the skin touch up, the frequency separation, the things that you can do with this program, it really did take a single photo that would take me 2 hours to edit down to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, a half hour. I mean, it is incredible what it'll do. And that's what I want to talk about, is how I make bangers using Evoto. So let's be honest for a minute. None of us wants to spend a ton of time editing photos when we can be out enjoying our lives, doing things, sharing them on social media, getting comments and likes. None of us want to be around just sitting behind a computer editing these photos all the time. And I'm the same way. I am the same person. I have spent so much time retouching, editing, cleaning up skin blemishes, removing distractions, and just spending all of this time because when it comes to my portraits, I'm a perfectionist. I want these photos to look absolutely perfect. So when there's distractions and when there's stuff going on, I am super worried about that. So there are other programs out there that'll help you with culling, that'll help you with indexing, that are getting into the retouching. But in my opinion, none of them compare to what Evoto AI is capable of doing, especially as fast as this program is updating and becoming this new wave of editing style. I mean, it is just absolutely incredible what it'll do. And you could cut down your time from, like I said, hours into literally minutes, things that would take you forever and be tedious, and you'd mess up and you'd go back and you'd have to do it again and you'd start over. And it's changed the way that it really works. And I'm very excited about that. And I want to show you the way that I've used and the way that I implement Evoto AI with the programs that I've been using for years. Evoto AI is designed and manufactured to be a one-stop shop. If you don't want to have Lightroom, if you don't want to use Photoshop, you technically don't need them. However, with that being said, I have implemented Evoto AI as a tool into my workshop or in my workflow. It's not the one-stop shop for me because I am efficient in things like Lightroom and Photoshop and the other programs that I have been using literally for 10 plus years. So how do I implement it? That's what I want to show you. Now, what I'm going to cover in this, I'm not going to go over everything. I mean, literally, we would be here for hours and hours and hours just talking. And although I like hearing my voice and I like teaching, it's gone. It's just coming back, So what I'm going to talk about in this is just a few things. I'm going to talk about background cleanup and distraction removal and how easy it is. A lot of these first few steps that I'm going to talk about are aimed at the people who have either just onboarded at Imaging USA or are recently getting into it, just starting to edit with it. I just want to show you how simple the program is and how easy it is. So background cleanup made easy. Another one we're going to do is the glasses glare removal and show you that just one slider will fix all your problems. So tattoo removal in one button click. This was just implemented less than 2 weeks ago. About 10 days ago, this update came out. It's an absolute game changer. The way that it will allow you to just remove tattoos with literally one button click. It is insane. We're going to talk about how to change the background without losing shadows. This is one of the major problems, one of the major hangups that I have with the actual Evoto software, is when you go in there and you do that background changer, if you've ever played around with it, you notice that you lose the texture on the backdrop, or you lose the shadows on your subject, the natural shadows on the ground. I want to show you the way that I do it, the tip, the trick, the insider knowledge, however you want to call it, the way that I do it to change the background color of a seamless backdrop without needing to lose your shadows. I'm going to show you a little bit on makeup fixes on portraits, how you can clean up makeup, add makeup, make it look natural so it doesn't look super airbrushed, the way that I do it. And then lastly, I'm going to walk you through a full walkthrough from start to finish, from Lightroom to Evoto AI to Photoshop, and show you how I create a portrait and take it into an absolute banger. So why should I be teaching you this? Very, very good question. Let's start off with saying that I am a portrait photographer, a wedding photographer, and I have shot portraits, wedding, fashion, and commercial photography for about 10 years now. I am an Evoto ambassador. Like I said, I'm not an employee for Evoto. I just absolutely love the program, and I love how I have implemented it into my workflow. Another reason is because I'm an actual user. I've been using it literally since it came out, since I first was introduced to it 2 years ago. I am a very, very big supporter. Not only that, but I also do speak at conferences, workshops, things like that for Evoto as well. So they have entrusted me with a lot of information that I am now giving to you guys in the educational form. So I just spoke at Imaging USA in Dallas with Evoto AI. I spoke at the booth. What was supposed to be a 1-hour presentation ended up turning into a 3-hour presentation because people kept listening, so I kept talking. So 3 hours, hence the voice is gone. If you see me grab a drink, that is why. Next to these are a couple of my images that have been edited in Evoto AI. So the one in the center with the wings, that was actually just shot last week in Dallas. The one on the far right side is a cosplay theme that I shot in studio. Skin touch-up was done in Evoto AI. A little bit more about me. Like I said, I have been teaching at conferences and workshops since 2019. I've taught in pretty much any state that will allow me. I've taught in Florida, in Tennessee, Illinois, St. Louis, Vegas, Dallas. I've taught where they'll allow me to teach. I have also shot in very amazing places that not a lot of people have, and I have taught in amazing places with amazing people. Also, I photographed on Lambeau Field, so I had to throw that one in there as a diehard Packer fan. But I've been able to experience a lot of amazing things over the years as a photographer, as an educator, and as a public speaker. So that's all I want to talk to you about. I just want to tell you who I am and why I should be doing this. We are now going to get over into the program, and we're going to start the meat and potatoes of the editing, as we will call it. So give me just 1 second. Let me drop this out of here, and let me get over into the program. We will stop that screen sharing. We will go back in, and we will share the screen again. So while I'm doing this, once again, if you're just joining me, let me know where you're from. I see Seattle. I see Pittsburgh. I see South Dakota. All sorts of friends and people that I know, people that I don't know. Let me know where you're from in the chat. I love to see where you're all watching from. As of right now, Argentina is the furthest traveled to join me. So that is absolutely incredible. We got Puerto Rico. What is up, Puerto Rico? Minneapolis area. What's going on? Oh, it's got to be much colder up there than it is here right now. So I'm going to start off easy, and we're going to kind of walk through. And then, like I said, I'm going to get into an actual full-fledged editing session here at the end. So this is my first step, and this is Jason Slade. He is a radio DJ. He is also the voice of the Green Bay Packers on game day. He does all the announcements on the field. I was lucky enough to shoot his headshots for the radio station. I shoot the radio stations, all of their headshots for all of their on-air staff and off-air staff. So with that being said, I enjoy taking these full-body photos of them, the radio DJs, because they use these for marketing material, for ads, for on the side of the like vans that have all the remote equipment in it and stuff like that. So I like to shoot these wider shots, and I've been doing them for a long time like this. All of the DJs I shoot, I try to get some fun, comical, wide-angle shots. But with that being said, I'm always getting lights in the background, or in the foreground, I should say, or sandbags, or light stands, or whatever. Now, the old way to do this is you would have to crop this down. You would have to make sure that nothing is showing. You would have to clone stamp, generative fill, do all of this stuff to this photo just to get rid of that. Now, with Evoto AI, you can come right in here into the background section, and we could hit this solid backdrop refinement, and we're going to just do distraction removal. And we'll go ahead, drop this down, and we will go distractions. Now that has already gotten rid of all of the things on each side. It has gotten rid of the softbox that was up here. It's gotten rid of my wall that's up here on the top. It has done almost everything for me. One more thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this clean backdrop button, and then we will make sure that it is a solid backdrop. And you can see that it has gotten rid of almost everything. The only thing that it did not get rid of is this sandbag and the rip in the paper. And I think the fact that it didn't is because it feels like that is supposed to be there, because maybe it thinks that it is a football or a ball because he's in a kicking motion. But let me tell you, it's very easy to fix that. And the way that you do it is just hit the healing tool and just go over these areas where it didn't quite do its job. And it's gone. Just like that, it is gone. So we have now taken a photo that had all sorts of distractions in it, all sorts of stuff in there. I mean, sandbags on the left side, the wall is showing, the backdrop isn't perfect, there's wrinkles in it on the ground. And within a minute and a half and literally one heel brush and 2 clicks of buttons, we now have ourselves a dang near perfect backdrop. This has come in handy so many times when I'm shooting. It has come up so many times when I'm shooting anybody who has muddy feet or work boots, and they're coming into the studio or coming into the headshot session. And you don't have to worry about telling them to clean their feet off anymore. You can just have them come in and you can use this distraction removal later. It is that simple. 2 buttons and 1 spot heal. Now, from there, what we can do is we can actually go in and let's say we wanted to change the background. We'd go like this and we could change the background. Now, with that being said, I am not a fan of this way. And the reason is because you're losing the shadows, you're losing the realism of the photo. So it's hard to make this look real. So here's what I do is I'm actually going to go in up here to the color palette. Now, before I do this, I want to let you know that all of that background distraction stuff that we did is going to disappear, but it really didn't. It's just showing you the raw photo. So when I go back into any other tab, it'll come back. So don't freak out on me. Also, I do see questions coming in. I will answer the questions when I'm done doing all of this, the demonstration. There is a Q&A section. I'm going to try to just lump everything in at that time here in just a little bit. So color palette, we're going to hit this color palette right here. So like I said, everything came back, but it really didn't. Let's just focus on this area right here when we're doing this. What we can do is we can actually click this masking right here, and we will go background. So now we're only affecting the background. And from there, this is as simple as just dragging the slider to where you want it to change the color. Let's go. Let's bring the temperature there. Let's bring this way. And we'll give it this nice color right there. And then what I suggest you do is go down here to saturation and bring the saturation up to make that look more realistic. Now if we go like this and go back in, you'll see that we have a nice lit colored background. So that is one of those tips that I use. You can still see the shadow is on here. The crease is here from where the paper is rolled down. It is good to go. There is a little bit of lighting defragmentation here from where I did the spot heal. I would just go back over it and do it. It might take you a time or two to get that spot down. But overall, I mean, you're going from this to this, and now you can export with a colored background depending on what somebody wants. So I feel like that's pretty simple. I'm going to show you the power of the distraction again. So let's go into this photo here of Veronica. I'm going to go in and I want to turn the shadows up just a little bit on this, just so we can see what's going on. We'll bring the exposure up just a little too. There we go. So this is another photo that was taken in my studio on a backdrop, ready to go. Left the lights in, and we can just go right here. We'll go into the background. And we will go distraction and distraction, and it is gone. The lights are gone. The wall is filled in right here. It is made this longer. Now, because my concrete in my studio is tile, or my floor is tile, it does have a rough time right here. And you'll see that that is kind of angled. Now, with that being said, I personally am going to change the floor. I'm going to make the floor look different when I'm editing this later. So that doesn't bother me. It is kind of deterring, but I don't feel like it's negative because I would never leave my normal tile floor anyway. This was just, I knew that I was going to change the ground and change that. So that's fine with me. But it could be a deterrent. I don't really think it is because I wouldn't leave this tile floor as my floor. So there's that. We're going to go in one more time, and this is kind of where I'm going to show you a little bit of everything here. And then I'm going to walk you through as well. So this is Samantha. Samantha is amazing. She works for Evoto. She was there this past week at Imaging USA, and I said, you have tattoos, you have glasses, look directly up at my light. That's not the tattoo reference, but the glasses. I said, look up. Let me get that blue blocker look in those. Let me see that light reflection. Now, I have a YouTube video that I created a while ago about how to fix this in Photoshop. That process usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour to do. With this, with the way that you can do it now with Evoto AI and going down and just clicking one slider to remove glasses glare, which is in your portrait palette, remove glasses glare, and to be able to bring this up and that leave that quick and go from glasses reflection to nothing, it literally blows my mind. It angers me a little bit because I spent so much time creating this YouTube video that was doing very, very, very well with views. And then it just tanked after people started learning about Evoto. With that being said, I did create another video for Evoto, but it was frustrating. It was a little frustrating to see how easy that it is. But now it has become so pivotal in my workflow to be able to just do that fast. Just literally bring the slider up and your glasses are fixed. Now, what it does is it tries to fill in, it reads the photo and fills in with AI how it thinks eyebrows are going to look, how the eye is going to look, how everything looks, and it builds structure there. It does a great job. It does a fantastic, fantastic job. Another thing that I want to show you from this, and I'm going to add one more too because there's something that's bugging me about this photo, and that is the center line part. And I'm going to just fill that in. We're spitfiring here now with this one. But we're going to go down in here into hair. We're going to go hairline part, and we're going to fill that hairline in. There we go. Just like that, the hairline is filled in. Look at that. Now we have the center line, hairline filled in, and the glasses. But what about the background? Let's talk about the background. Maybe we don't want that stuff in the background. Maybe we just want the logo down here in the background or the color down here. We don't want these in there. Let's go back into background adjustment. Let's go distraction remover, and let's go distractions, and let's just get rid of it. One click, one drop down, background is better. So we've now went from this photo to this photo. It's miraculous what it'll do. So from there, let's talk about the newest update that just came out the previous Tuesday, less than 2 weeks ago. And that is the tattoo removal. We can come up here into the blemish removal section. We are going to go down here. Now this is still in beta. So remember that it isn't always going to work perfectly. When we were demoing it at Imaging USA, there was one photo that it did miss part of a tattoo. But overall, for this to be the first version of this coming out, it's pretty mind-blowing because we can just take and just click this and it will erase tattoos just like that. When I first saw this, let me tell you, they showed this to me and my jaw hit the floor. I could not believe how well this thing worked. I could not believe one click just like this gets rid of tattoos. I literally went, because Do you know how long that would take and how difficult to retouch that is? It really does blow my mind how easy that is and how smart it is, how good of a job it does. Like, I mean, it is mind blowing to me how it can get the lighting down, how it can make it look that realistic. So in the last 3 minutes, we have taken this photo, which had tattoos, it had glare, it had background distractions, and within 3 minutes, a couple of clicks, we've brought it to here. Let me go up here, and I am actually going to down this double chin just a little bit. So we'll bring that up, and then we're going to go down here into facial reshape, and I'm just going to bring the face in just a little bit. Now look at this. I did 2 more sliders, and we have taken this photo from here to here. What that's doing is it's fixing my mess up. My light was a little high for the angle that she was standing, so I have created a double chin on somebody who doesn't have a double chin. So I'm fixing that in post without needing to spend a ton of time dodging and burning and doing frequency separation. You can do all of that in here, or you can just fix your mess ups right here on the spot. This is seriously, it's insane what this program will allow me to do. Now, I want to talk about one more, and I'm actually going to jump over into Lightroom to start out here. And this is where I want to start walking you through my workflow, how I do everything, how I edit, how I color grade, how I use a photo. And I want to show you, this is going to be our before photo. This is my assistant, Kayla. I shot her wedding, and this photo is absolutely incredible. It's inside an old bank vault, but it's missing something to me. Like, a lot of people would be perfectly happy with this photo right like this. I don't feel like it's a banger. I don't feel like it's at that banger quality yet. So what I did is I went and I recreated it. I used some layers, I used some lighting effects, and I'm going to show you all of that in this. Now, some of the things I'm going to use in here, you would have to purchase extra, like some overlays and things like that. But I would just want to show you an example of where you can really take a photo, and you could take this photo and you could turn it into something like this by using Lightroom, Evoto, and Photoshop. Now, prior to Evoto, this photo would have taken me hours. I'm talking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to do. And now I can get it down into about 35 minutes. So I want to go ahead and we are going to walk through my workflow, how I use Evoto. Now, I already have the photo in here, but you would just export or import like normal, do all of that. Now, this is where I start, and I start with the adjustments, with the basic adjustments module, and this is pretty much all I'm going to use in Lightroom, but I kind of use Lightroom as my hub where I bounce back and forth from. That way I can export, because I have all my export presets and stuff like that. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and this is the part where you can go back and watch if you want, all of you that are watching the webinar that I see so many people in here. What do I have in here now? I have Alabama in here. I have another Minneapolis in here. Let me know where you're from if you haven't dropped it yet. I love seeing some of this. I see questions coming in. I'm going to answer the questions here in just a little bit after I get done with this photo. We'll go into some Q&A, and I will try to answer as much as I can. But yeah, let's get going. You're going to get a link to this video if you're watching it. You'll be able to go back and watch it again. And I'm going to give you some freebies too. I'm going to give you some stuff to use to help you. So stick around. And I might also give something else away too. So stick around. So let's go ahead. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the shadows. This is something that I do in all of my photos. I underexpose in my photos when I'm shooting. That way I can manipulate the lighting later. So I shoot underexposed, and I also shoot on the warmer tones. I'm going to let you know that right now. So shadows up. And then we will go ahead and bring the clarity up just a little bit. So we are from here to here. And I think overall that is right about all that I need to do to this photo. I might actually go in here and bring up a linear gradient here and bring this exposure up just a little bit over here in the corner. So basically all I've done is I brought the shadows up, I brought the clarity up, and then I did a linear gradient on this left-hand side to bring up the lighting. It was a little dark down there in the corner. I want to be able to see that pew pew. I don't want to call it by what it is in case I put this on YouTube and at some point in the future and they get angry about the pew pew. So from there, we're good to go. This is where I'm going to jump over into Lightroom. This is all I really needed, or I'm sorry, into Photo. This is all I really needed Lightroom for, is a little bit of lighting touch-up. So let's go ahead, let's right-click. And this is a question that I get a lot, and this is a question that I got a lot at Imaging USA, is how do I go from Lightroom to a Photo? Now I'm using Lightroom Classic, and that is right-click, edit in Evoto. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a TIFF file. So let's edit, copy in Lightroom adjustments. It's going to create a TIFF file, automatically import it over into Evoto AI. So here we go. And here we go. We are good to go. So now from here, I go through this literally just top to bottom, going down, working a little bit at a time. Now, if you didn't know a hotkey to see what you've done and what you go back to the raw or the original is you hold in the space bar. If you hold in the space bar, it'll show you your original photo. I suggest doing that a lot because it is very, very easy to overdo a photo. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We're editing photos and then all of a sudden we've just way screwed up a photo. So use it sparingly. And basically just start at the top and work your way down. I will go down here. I'm going to go here. We're going to go freckles and acne, and we'll just start at the top. Like I said, let's bring that up. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to soften that skin there. We will bring some freckles back because I'm not opposed to having freckles in there. I want it to look realistic. There we go. So we'll go from there and we'll go down to reduce face shine. Face shine in that T-zone right there on the forehead. It happens a lot with my style of shooting because I do off-camera flash, high-speed sync, very bright lights all the time. So we'll go ahead and we will reduce that face shine. And you can see just bringing that slider up is just doing miraculous things. Now, personal preference, when I use these sliders, I usually only take things to 70 to 80%. So as you can see on this one, I went to 81. I try to live right around 60, 70, 80, right in that area where it's affecting the photo, but it's not making somebody look plastic or fake or anything like that. So just consider that when you're editing, is just kind of live there. Now, if you want to go all the way to 100 and see what it does and then start bringing it back until you feel like it's where you want it, go ahead. That's perfectly fine. When I first got this program, I literally started at the top and I just full, all the way down until I figured out a flow that felt right for me. So that's where we're at right now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to remove those eye bags, which she doesn't really have any, but it was late in the day. We'd been sweating and the makeup is kind of making it look like eye bags. No lip wrinkles and flakes, but we'll go ahead and bring it up just to see if it's doing anything. It really isn't. We'll go ahead and we will hit this double chin. Now, with this double chin feature, I use it on almost every photo that I do. And the reason is because the way that I use my lighting and the way that I edit my photos is I like a very predominant chin line. And even if someone doesn't have a double chin, I still use it because it kind of dodges and burns that chin jaw line. And I like that. Now, you don't need to if you don't want to, but I use it on almost every photo that I edit in a photo. So no forehead wrinkles. No eye wrinkles, really. Nope. So no need to do that. Smile line. The smile line feature, I don't use that often because I've never felt like I needed to take a smile line away. Now, if somebody has a very, very deep smile line, I may bring it back just a little bit. But overall, I don't do that. So let's go down here into body blemishes. We'll go and we'll bring it up just a little bit. And we will go body blemishes. We'll go about 60. We'll see what it does. So it's just kind of getting rid of some of the moles and freckles and stuff like that, which looks good. We will go neck wrinkles. We'll go up with that to about 80. And as you can see, like I'm hitting the space bar here and you're seeing what it originally looked like to what it looks like now. Let's go ahead and let's do the armpit touch up, which is one of the newer features. It was just introduced right around November or so. And we'll go ahead and we will go armpit touch up. And what you're seeing is that's actually taking those armpit lines and bringing them in and straightening them up. No stomach lines to see, so we don't need to worry about that. We're going to go ahead and we will close that up then, blemish removal. And we're going to open, let me just close all this stuff up here. We're going to open skin retouching. So evening the dodging and burning on the face. So with this, the even, I don't use very strongly. The sculpt, I do though. So we're going to go up a little bit with the even. And then we're going to go up quite a bit to around 60% with the sculpting. And what that's going to do then is it's going to blend the skin, not make it look plastic, but then blend all the lighting and the color and stuff like that in the background of it. I don't use textured smoothing. I do use frequency separation, but it is the same as the sculpting. I use it very, very lightly. And you will see how we're getting this to look already. We'll go down here, no skin softening. We will go body skin frequency separation. And I'm going to bring that one up. So that's going to blend all the skin together. Now, with that being said, I also go down to AI Unified Body Complexion. And we are going to go ahead and bring that up. Now, what AI Unified Body Complexion, as well as the face complexion, what it does is it reads the entire section. So like the body, it reads the lowlights, the highlights, the mid, everything, and tries to blend them together and make them a unified color. So as you can see, it kind of just blends all the skin together. And then me, I come down here into rosy complexion, and I always add rosy complexion just a little. I mean, you could go all the way, turn her into a tomato, or take her down to a vampire. But what I do, I go to about 25%. And what that does is it just adds a little bit of redness, warmth to the skin. I just personally feel like that helps me when I'm adding in more color later. So that's all I really do on the body or the skin retouching. Facial reshaping, this photo doesn't need it. I don't feel like I want to add a smile to her, but I could if I want. Maybe just a little bit. Let's just add just a little bit, like a 15% smile. It's not really doing much. It's just kind of bringing the smile lines up just a little bit. If we wanted to go crazy, we could go all the way and add some fake teeth in here, but we're not gonna, because that's a whole different subject all at hand right there. But we are facial expression. No teeth showing, so I don't need to worry about that. Let's go here and we will go into the eyes. With the eyes, I have noticed that you can really overdo it with the eyes. And this is a trend on a lot of portrait editing lately, is these super white scleras in the eye. And I'm not for it. Maybe you are, I'm not for it. So the way that I do this and the way that I edit with this is I go brightness up just a little, about 20, 25%. Then I'm going to take the sclera. It used to say sclera on here. Now it says eye whites. And I'm going to take that back down. There we go. So now we have a much more natural looking bright to the eyes. I'm going to bring the iris flare up a little bit, about 30%. And now we have more depth to the eyes without making it look weird. And then the last one I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to do the red vein removal. And just kind of fix those spots there. So now we are looking so much better. This is the straight out of camera. And then this is where we're at right now. So let's go down and I'm going to talk about makeup. So this is one of the topics that I wanted to talk about in this photo. Now in this webinar. You could go and you could edit the highlights. You could edit the contour. You could just do these up here. What I do, and this is how I get my bangers, is I do each section at a time, and I will show you why with each section. So I don't feel like I need to change the eyebrows. Her eyebrows were on point that day. The eyeshadow looked good, especially in this photo. Her eyelashes are just bopping. Those look good. Look at those things. Ooh, boy. So let's go into eyeliner. As you can see, we have a little bit of eyeliner issue here just because, like I said, late in the day, it was hot. We were sweaty. So what I do is I find the eyeliner that I want to use, Now this is adding a full wing. I don't want that. And then from there, I'm going to take the amount and bring it back until I find a happy mixture of what she had on with what I'm adding. This, you can't really see that to the fullest. So let's go in and I'll show you an example in blush. So blush. Now you'll be able to really see that I'm adding blush. Let's add this really red one right here. But like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this amount and I'm going to bring it back. So now we have this photo at a much better version of makeup. We added some blush, but we brought it back. Lipstick looks good, but if we wanted to change the color of it, we could. And then I would do the same thing. I would add that color in, and then I'll bring the amount down to like 20%, 10%, somewhere around there. So we're getting a mixture of both. We'll go contour here, and let's just add this really harsh contour here. Let's go with this one. And then, like I said, we'll take it and we will bring it down to about 10%. So now we've added it in there, but it's not that strong. And then face decorations, we don't need to add any freckles or anything like that. Hands look good. Hair looks good for the most part. We can go in here in hair and we can actually fill in the part line a little bit. And we will go ahead and remove some of the strays. I don't think it's going to do too much to the photo. Yeah, it does. We'll go about 60%. Just removing all these strays over here on the right side. So from there, let's go down to full body reshaping. I don't want to reshape her. She looks absolutely stunning. But if we wanted to, we could bring some of this stuff in. And I'm not going to. What I want to do is actually go down here to the neck. And I want to, neck length. And I just want to shorten her neck just a little bit. Just a little. I mean, I could go either direction with it. But I just want to go just a little bit. Let's go about 50% that way. And what I find incredible is the fact that I shortened her neck, but it did not change the shape of the circle in the background or the oval. Let's just bring those arms in just a little. And it's actually not widening or shrinking the arms. It's just kind of pulling them closer to her body, which I want. So there is pretty much where I would edit this photo in Photo AI, is I would just go down and do all of those features right like that and be good to go. Now, here's the only tricky step to the whole thing. This is where it kind of gets interesting. What you need to do is there's no way to go back to Lightroom. And I wish there was, and I wish that I could tell you that they were going to implement it, but as just an ambassador, I don't know. This is a very, very big topic that was brought up that people really want to see that. I just can't promise it. I don't know that information. I hope so, though. I'm right there with you. Trust me. But what we need to do is we need to export. You're going to want to export. I'm just going straight back into the original folder because I want to make sure that it just stays right there. It's easier for me for this purposes of the webinar. But what you need to do is you need to export it as a 16-bit TIFF file. Right here, go to TIFF. That is going to give you a full resolution file with the information in the back end of it so you can continue editing. If you do this in a JPEG, this is where it's going to get interesting. So let's go ahead, let's export. We're going to let that export, and while it's exporting, I'm going to go over into Lightroom. I'm going to go into Library. We will import. And once that is in there, we'll go ahead and give it a second here. There it is. We will click that, and we are going to import. So now we have this photo back in here with the updates to it. So here we go. We are back here in Lightroom. Now, the reason that I go into Lightroom is because this is where I want to end up. Now, I could have taken that TIFF file, went straight into Photoshop and finished out there. I have all of my export settings saved as presets in Lightroom, so that's why I bring it back here. So let's go ahead and we're going to not touch anything in this photo in Lightroom. We just wanted it to kind of live here. We're going to right-click, edit in, edit in Photoshop. So we're going to go over into Photoshop then. And this is where we're going to finish my color grading, my adding in the smoke overlays, the lighting overlays, all of those effects. Now, for teaching purposes, I'm going to make this image much smaller because as of right now, it's a 9,000 pixel file. So I'm just going to make it 1,500. That way it's easy to work with. We'll bring it up in here. So what I want to do from here is I want to actually go in and stretch this. So we will go, and I'm going to crop. Before I do that, though, I'm going to make a new layer because I want to make sure that this is edit layer. Background will stay there. Background is just going to live there in case something happens. So crop, and we're going to pick what this photo is going to be. It's going to be a 5x4. We're going to go ahead and bring it up here like this and like this. Now, before I hit enter, what I want to do is I want to click this drop down and go generative expand. We'll go ahead and hit OK. We'll let it do its thing, and then we will see what it does. Now, this is where you're leaving it up to the Photoshop gods above to do this right. And like you can see, this one did not. This side I enjoy, this side I do not. So let's go ahead. Let's see what the other options are. So I can work with this one right here. This one I can work with. This one's okay. So this is what I was getting at, though. Sometimes you need to try a couple times. You need to try to see if it will do what you want it to. If not, you need to try again. You need to regenerate. You need to exit that or delete that layer and try again. It'll eventually work. So from there, what I want to do is I want to add in those smoke layers. Now, this is the portion of the program that you're going to need to purchase something to do what I'm doing to make this photo. But if you don't want to, that's okay. You can skip this. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to find my files, and it's by a company or a person called Nucly, Nucly. And what this is it actually has God rays, and these are overlays that are lighting overlays basically. And what I can do is I can take these, bring these down on here, and bring this up. And then what you need to do is come down here, and we will make that screen. So as you can see, it's still way too bright. So the layer mode is screen, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that down to about, there we go, 25%, 24%. On top of that, we need to do one more thing to make that a little bit more see-through, and that is going into adjustments. So if your adjustments panel doesn't live on the right-hand side over here, you can go to Window and just click Adjustments, and it'll pop up. We're going to come up here to Curves. And before we actually start working with the curves, we need to hit this drop-down box right here, this little box. We're going to click that because what that's going to do, and this is overlooked a lot, is whatever we do on this layer is only going to affect the layer below it. So if I go like this and I drop this down, it is only affecting that God ray layer. It's only affecting this layer. So as you can see, it's only affecting that layer. So that's how we make that work like that. So now we have a much, much easier on the eyes edited photo right there. We could stop here. We could go ahead and say this is our edit. But what I want to do is I actually want to go in here. I'm going to select my Kayla layer, my edit layer here. Select subject. And then we are going to go back up here to this God rays layer. I'm going to hold an option on a Windows computer. I think it's Alt. And click this little square with the circle down here. And what you'll see is it'll actually get rid of that God ray layer. It's created a mask. I feel like this is a little bit too strong. Like now she's standing out from the light. So what you can do is you can come up here to Properties. And if Properties isn't there, once again, Window, Properties, and it'll pop up. The density. We're going to turn the density down. And what that is it's the amount of opacity that you can see through the mask. So let's go density, and we'll go down until we find a level that where the light looks like it's hitting her, but it's not washing her out. This would be all the way down. This would be all the way up. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a soft spot right there in the middle where we can see both. Right about there. So you can see that mask is now not all the way black, but it's more of like a gray. So we have layer, layer, layer. This layer could drop down onto that one. So now we have one layer with the generative fill is added on there and everything. So from here, we have now created our frame to the photo, if you want to call it. The lighting is on there. Now we need to color grade. Once again, I could send this out right like this. This is good to go. But to make it a Josh Russell banger, there's a very certain way that I do it. And that is adding in LUTs, lookup tables. So if you don't know what a LUT is, or a lookup table, it's basically like a Lightroom preset. But it's made for Photoshop, but mainly it's made for color grading video and cinema. So they're used in Premiere, they're used in DaVinci Resolve, they're used in Final Cut, and programs like that. I use them in Photoshop to color grade my photos. And I have created my own LUT. And because you're part of this free webinar, I'm actually going to give you my LUT for free. So after this webinar, within the 24 hours, you'll get an email that will have a replay link so you can go back and watch this. It'll also have a download link for my LUT. You are more than welcome to use that for whatever you want. If you do end up using my LUT and use it in this way that I'm teaching you, tag me on Instagram. That way I can see what you're doing. But what you need to do to add a LUT, go back up to your adjustments right here. So like I said, window adjustments, if it's not there, we're going to go all the way down to color lookup. We'll go ahead and add in a color lookup. That'll lay that on that top layer there. Now I have some built in, or Photoshop itself has some built in. I also have some of my friend Glenn Dewis's lookups on here. What I need to do though is I need to find mine. So we'll just go here. We'll click load 3D LUT. It's going to figure out where it is. So or I should say you need to figure out where it is. It'll probably be in your downloads folder if you download it directly from me. I have it in a different folder. And I'm just going to click on this cinematic LUT. And just like that, my color grade, my preset has now been added to this photo. It's pretty much done at that point. The only thing that I would say that I like to do from here is I will actually go back down to this edit layer, select my subject again. I will delete this layer, or this mask, sorry. Right click on this square right here, delete the mask, and then hold in that command or option, or control, alt or option, what the Windows key. And we will go option, mask. And then just like the curves layer earlier, or the light layer, we're going to go down and we're going to change the density until it looks like that photo is real. So now what we've done is we've taken and we have added that LUT, that color grade on there. The cool thing is now we could add another LUT if we wanted to. We could come in here, we could add another lookup table on top, and let's just drop one of Glenn's on there. So you can see now we could really start playing around with these LUTs. We could add these layers in, change the way that this photo looks. So this is where I do all my color grading. This is where I add in my LUTs. This is where I add my style, things like that, to really make it look like me. If you wanted to, you wouldn't have to use these LUTs. You could use other LUTs that you find. You could use Glenn Dewis's. I have a link. Maybe I'll include that as well. I have a link to get a little bit of percentage off on them. That way you can use those LUTs. But now all I have to do is I have to go in here and hit Command S, go back to Lightroom, then the photo's now updated. So we went from this photo right here, and I will go ahead and reset it. So we went from this photo to this photo in about 25 minutes. We've color graded, we've retouched the image, we've added makeup, we've did some skin and body blemish removal, we've added in the sides, and we are good to go. We are set, ready to go, just like that. And we can export this. And this, my friends, is what I would call a certified banger. Let me get back into here a second. bring this up. Okay, so question time. I saw some questions pop up. I'm going to go ahead and try to answer those right now. Let me scroll up, see where these questions started, and we will start going. So I hope that helped, Amy. You said if there was a way to keep it from being 7 photos, that would be great. I kept it down to 3. So I hope that helped. Don said he just started using it this week. I hope this helped. We got Pittsburgh, we got Seattle, we got South Dakota, we got Puerto Rico, Minnesota, Cambridge, Minnesota. Scott said, love your work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Can you brighten up the shadows at the crease of the backdrop? So the way that you would do that is you would just brighten it up in that color palette. When you're on that mask with the background, and then bring the shadows up just a little bit. That will brighten that up. I don't mind the crease of the backdrop. Like if you're talking about where it swoops, I'm okay with that. Someone said, please could you comment on how to solve the problem of editing photos without a face? Whenever I do sessions for pregnant women and I don't include the face, then the program doesn't recognize that body and I can't edit it. So this is an issue that I have ran into as well with Photo AI. Because it is a portrait editing program, I think that it needs that face to have a anchor point, have a point to connect to. So I've done that before. I've been doing maternity photos and it was just a close up of the belly with some hands, and I wanted to get rid of some of the stretch marks and the pregnancy line, and it just doesn't do it. I feel like this is something that you would need to go to Evoto and provide feedback. If you've never provided feedback, what you literally can do is you can, when you have your image open, down in the tabs and the thumbnails, and let me just jump over there and show you here. What you can do is when you're in Evoto AI, if you right click on an image down here, let me bring that up. If you right click on an image down here, you can provide feedback. And what that's going to do is it's going to open this. So how can we improve? So this is where you would go in and you would say like body effects or something, whatever you're doing. Let's just say, or suggestions. And then you would say, I'm editing a photo, and because there's not a face, it will not allow me to edit said photo. And then they're gonna get back to you. They're gonna let you know. And what I've noticed now, I'm not saying that I have like some extra pull or anything, but like when I send them information, I have noticed that shortly after I've sent them information, these updates have happened. I was with the dev team last week, the developer team, and they were taking a ton of notes over the 3 days that we were there about things that people were bringing up to their attention. So this company, I feel, is really, really interested in what we have to say as photographers. So if there's something that you run into, by all means, bring it up to them. Send them the feedback, and I'm almost positive someone will reach back out and try to help you with that problem. Does it work on a curved reflector under the subject for headshots? Yes, it does. I don't have any examples right now, but I have the Westcott iLighter 3. As a Westcott Top Pro, I use that in almost all of my headshot shoots. If it is taking up a ton of the bottom, sometimes it doesn't. And it really is where that AI feature can either do really well or it can lack a little bit. It's one of those things that I've noticed that it does work. It will take it out, but every now and then, if there's too much of that highlighter showing, it has a problem. So that's where I would just bring it over and show it in, or fix it in Photoshop. What do we got? Can this work on pets? As of right now, I'm pretty sure that it's only a human portrait program, but I did hear some chatter about maybe it becoming more pet oriented or having a pet option or an update. So I would stick around. I would also provide feedback, just like I said, to, I think it was Matthias, provide feedback, let him know. The only way that this program is really going to grow is by providing that feedback to them and letting them know, the developers know what you want to see from it. What do we got? Question for afterwards. Why do images download blurry after exporting with AI crop? That is something that I noticed recently as well. And I think because that AI crop is semi-new, it's still kind of beta, that it is causing somewhat of an issue, because what it's doing is, depending on how big your photo is. Now, I edit 62 megapixel photos. So like you saw earlier, it's a 9,000 by 5,000 pixel image, or 9,500 by 5,300, something like that. So when it crops, it's still cropping down to, 3,000 by 4,500, something like that, or 4,500 by 4,500 if you're doing square. So the problem is it's cropping down, but it's not giving more pixels. So it's basically zooming in. So that's the issue. I think that it's something that probably will get better, but at the same time, that's going to happen in any program. It's going to happen in Lightroom. It's going to happen in Photoshop, no matter what. If you try to take a crop and crop it in and still keep the same resolution, that's going to happen. So like if you were to crop in Photoshop, when you crop it down, you lose those pixels. But if you tried to bring them back, you'd pixelate it, you'd blurry it. Let's see. Don said, I know how to go back into Lightroom. It will go back into Lightroom when you export. That is not entirely true. Sometimes I notice that it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Export to folder in original photo. Check your box. A non-raw image will replace the existing file. That will send it right back to Lightroom. Now, I tried to do that just before this live stream, this webinar. It did not update. I did it same folder, same file name, same everything, did not create a subfolder, did not change any of the information, and it did not go back to the original. So that I had to re-upload. So if maybe at some point that they could get that figured out, and it does, that's cool. For my experience over months, it does not do that. Every now and then it will. Most of the time it doesn't. Definitely thinking about getting into Westcott as new FJ 402 and the FJ 800 and selling my Godocs. Scott, I highly suggest doing it. I know this is not about Westcott today, but I have a Westcott discount code. If you want one, I can get you a little bit of money off those things. And yeah, they're game changers. I use them in imaging. I have an 800 and a 400 Mark II here. Incredible products. Incredibly strong 800, like awesome. I just released 2 new videos on my YouTube channel about them as well. Yeah, it is. It's weird that it doesn't work for me like that. You don't like color grading in Voto. It's not that I don't like color grading in Voto. It's just I have built a workflow. And my workflow works for me because now I've gotten it back into Lightroom and I'll be able to export. So it's not that I can't, and I did preface that at the beginning, that Evoto can be the one-stop shop, but because of my workflow, the way that I've been working, and that's what I wanted to show with this, is the way that I edit, the way that I use it in my workflow. I feel like it's important to learn the way different people use programs and products, because we can all help each other grow that way. Scott, discount code, I will private message you in this. Well, actually, I can. This is one of my private, so I'm not publicly allowed to give it out, but this is a private webinar, so I can just go ahead. If you're on fjwestcott.com, you can go ahead and hit Josh R10 in the coupon code. You can save 10%, and I also make a small percentage of that. So thank you for using that. So anybody in here, if you want to use it and you want to buy FJ Westcott products, that works on any FJ Westcott product on their website. It doesn't work on like B&H and Adorama and stuff like that. It has to be the actual fjwestcott.com. But Josh R10, save you 10%. Might not sound a lot, but trust me, it really is. When you're buying a $1,000 light, you're saving $100. So while I have your attention, I do want to tell you a little bit more, and I feel like that if you guys don't have more questions, I thank you for listening, but I want you to stick around for just a couple more minutes because I want to talk to you about something, and it would be greatly appreciated, since I gave you some awesome information, if you could just stick around and listen to my information. And that's about the Photog Nation. The Photog Nation is my private online learning club. That is what I have that is similar to an online course, mixed with a private learning society, mixed with a networking group, mixed with a whole bunch of stuff. So it is a place where you can learn, you can watch videos, you can grow, or you can network with other photographers, and you can learn from me. So it's a mixture of online course, networking, and private coaching directly from me, where we can sit down and we can figure out exactly what you need as a photographer, whether it's editing tips, lighting tips, business tips, SEO, marketing, content creation, all of these things. That's what the Photog Nation is. I've created this over the last couple of years. I feel like that it's really starting to grow. It's a very limited group of people that I keep very intimate and niche. I don't want it to grow to thousands of people right away. Now, business-wise, I do, but personally, I want to keep it as tight-knit community as I can. Personal. This is a place where you can learn directly from a portrait photographer who has went from being a homeless teenager to a touring musician to a six plus figure photography business. I've seen it all, I've done it all, and I want to help you and people like you grow. So the private learning society. So what other people that have online courses and clubs, what they're offering an online video course. Everybody has an online video course. There's Udemy, there's Skillshare, there's all these places. All these photographers have different online courses, $1,500 plus, sometimes even more, sometimes a little less. But I mean, you're paying for this online video catalog. A private Discord community. Most people are charging $25 a month, $50 a month just to be part of an online chat group where you can work with other photographers and chat and get critiques and learn from other people. Live streams, bi-weekly live streams. As of right now, during conference season, they are once a month, but not many photographers offer this, not many educators, where you're actually sitting in a live stream with me, asking me the questions that you want to learn. This is super important to be able to come somewhere and ask a photographer, hey, I have this problem. Can you help me with it? Instead of just needing to go to YouTube and search for it, or go to my online catalog or the online catalog that you buy and search for it. Like, this is, you're coming to me, whether it's in our live streams or a Facebook message or whatever, Discord, and you're getting me, and you're also getting other photographers' information as well. So not only that is I do contests, private meetups. We have a private meetup at every conference for just members. I get models together. I get other photographers that are part of the Photog Nation, and we all come together and we enjoy an evening or a day shooting that is exclusive to us. I have one scheduled for WPPI. I have one scheduled for Shutterfest. I have one scheduled for some of the conferences next year already. And I'm always trying to grow them. So as the Photog Nation grows, so does my private meetups. Discount codes. You already got one. I do other giveaways. I do all sorts of craziness. Any workshops that I have, if I do a workshop, I did see Matt in here earlier in the webinar. Matt is one of the Photog Nation members. He got to come to my workshop here in Wisconsin for free. He didn't have to pay for it. He just had to get here. He got into this workshop for free. It was a day of shooting. I give you advance information about workshops. I give you discount codes for workshops. I give you free admission into some workshops. I do everything that I can to help you grow as a photographer. So who is this for? It's for portrait photographers like me, wedding photographers like me, senior photographers like me, family photographers not like me. But I have shot them. I do know how to pose. I do know how to plan them, and I can help you with those. Matt just brought up a good point. He came in the night before, and he shot with me in my studio, one-on-one with a model. So that was another thing that he was able to do as a Photog Nation member. If I'm in your town and I'm going through your town, or if I'm going through your state or whatever, we can meet up and we can get together and either have a drink or have coffee or shoot if we can figure out a way to do it. This is also for product photographers. I've shot product photos for the last 10 years. It's not my main niche, but I do know how to do it, and I can teach you a few things. Commercial photographers, this is leaning more on the pricing and structure of building a commercial photography business. I can help you with that. I've done it. I've shot $10,000 projects, $15,000 projects. My highest one was almost $20,000. So I can help you with that. Now, if all I did was this, if all I did was be that person where you can talk to and say, hey, I have this question. Can you help me? Would it be worth it? Is that something that would be worth it to you? If I help you learn and grow better as a photographer and run a successful business, would that be worth it? If I gave you tips and tools that I used to create my business that went from literally nothing to 6 figures successfully, would that be worth it? Good news. You get it all. You get it all for one price. You also get bonuses. So not only do you get the Photog Nation, which is the learning society, you also get my AI photography assistant. So basically what this is I have went and I have custom created a GPT that adds on to your chat GPT. And the way that this works is it works like you're talking to me. So you ask it a question about photography, it will give you a Josh Russell specific type answer using my tone, using my style. It will help you build out emails. It will help you build out contracts. It will help you literally do anything you can think of as a photographer or a photography business. This is included. You get the Content That Converts 5-day challenge. Basically, this was a boot camp that I ran last year where 5 days you got something new as a theme to try to grow as a photographer based around content creation. And you get SnapFluent Secrets, which is still being onboarded. It's rolling out a little at a time. The holiday season got kind of away from me, but it is still being built. There is still videos from content creation. Not only that, but there are, I think, 20 plus videos based around other aspects of photography in the Photog Nation. So you do get that video online database, but you also get the access as well. So you have two choices. You can spend countless hours searching YouTube and trying to find answers or joining all these different courses, or you can just join my learning club that's tailored to help you. When you sign up, you get a strategy planning meeting with me. It's a 30-minute planning session on Zoom where we figure out what you're looking for from the Photog Nation, whether it is learning about editing, learning about business, where you really want to take this. And I strategize that based around what you want. So what is that worth to you? What is the price that you would think? $500 a month, $700 a month? I've seen businesses charge that. I've seen photographers charge that. Minus $500 a year. Or you could pay $2,500 for life. You pay one-time fee, $2,500. You don't need to pay anything anymore. Or you could pay $500 a year. But for being in this webinar, for being here, I have special pricing for you. I have special pricing right here on the screen. Instead of $500, you can pay $350 for a year. Or you can pay $2,000, $1,990 for life. I'm going to leave this up for a second. I will pop it back up. There's a little bit more that I want to talk about. If you want more information, scan that right now. It is going to go to my PhotoHustlers Blueprint page. It is the same information. It's the same discount. My PhotoHustlers Blueprint is a different webinar that I run. So with this, you're getting everything. You're getting the photos critiqued. You're getting the access, the full access to the Photog Nation and the perks. Pricing again. So this is what you're getting. So you're getting 40 plus lessons. So there's 40 videos, editing, lighting, posing, content creation, and much more. It's $2,500 value. The bi-weekly live streams where you can ask the questions that you want answered. I average that at a $500 value. Vertical Video Pro. It's another course that's built inside of it along with the other videos, the private Discord chat room where we're always talking and chatting and figuring everything out together. There's a live editing room that plays like some lo-fi hip-hop music where you can hang out and stuff like that. We do Banger of the Week contests. We do giveaways. There's photo and website critiques, which Matt is next on my list now, probably by the end of this week, to do his Instagram critique to help him with his Instagram. Free downloads and templates. There are, advanced access to my workshops. I talked about that. Free downloads and templates. Those are contract templates, model release templates, my preset packs. I have 5 different preset packs in there. My AI assistant, my LUTs, all of that are in there. And then also private one-on-one mentoring sessions. There isn't a slightly additional fee. It is very reasonably priced. But you could actually have one-on-one meetings with me via Zoom or in person, and we could really dive into what you want to learn. So here's the information again. If you want to join, I highly suggest you take advantage of this. It's only available for 24 hours from here, from this point right now, 7:15 Central Time. 24 hours. I'm going to leave it up, and I'm going to go to this one. So if you do decide to sign up, the next 10 people that sign up for the Photog Nation is going to get an additional one-on-one session with me, private strategy meeting. So you're going to get that initial one that you get after your 14 days, after you've been in the thing for 14 days, been in the course learning club for 14 days. I'm going to throw an additional one on for the next 10 people that sign up. So if you sign up, you get 2 private lessons with me. This is important. This is something that will help you build your business, your photography skills. And this is the final slide here. 25 members is all I'm accepting to the Photog Nation right now. I'm only opening it up to 25 members. Remember, the next 10 that sign up get that extra private course or that private lesson. So you're going to get 2, and you're getting that discounted price, $350 for a year. $2,000 for life. You'd never have to pay again. And you also get extra perks for signing up for that. Now, for those of you that are out of the United States, if you do sign up for the lifetime and you want that swag pack that comes with the t-shirt and the hat and all of that stuff, stickers, you will have to pay for shipping. So that is the only downside, because it's expensive to ship out of the United States, especially right now. So but you're going to get that extra stuff. With the lifetime sign up, you get an additional 6 one-on-one sessions to use at any time you want. So if you signed up for the lifetime, you paid the one time, and I do accept Afterpay and Klarna. So technically, you can go sign up for that lifetime, use Klarna or Afterpay, and you still make payments. I have a couple people that have done that are in the Photog Nation. So you could sign up, you could still make your monthly payments, but you could pay that one-time fee. All of that information is in the link. Otherwise, go to photognation.com. Now, if you're new to Avoto and you want to use the code JOSH11, you can get a membership for 15% off. So if Avoto's new to you, if you want to use this code, you can go in there. You can get 15% off by using the code JOSH11. Other than that, I'm going to leave it open. Are there any more questions either about Avoto, my workflow, or the Photog Nation? I see many of you still hanging around in here. Thank you so much for watching. Any more questions? And there is going to be a live stream tomorrow evening. So the Photog Nation's live stream is tomorrow evening. I will say I signed up 2 years ago, but for the members only shoot, and I ended up getting so much for the first month that I've stayed with it. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it, man. I love having Matt in. He has been a pillar to the Photog Nation for a couple years now. There is a live stream, a Photog Nation members only live stream tomorrow evening. So if you signed up today, if you signed up right now, you would get that invite in the Discord to the invite to the Discord, and then you would also get the invite to the live stream tomorrow evening. So you would be able to join right away and start asking your questions. And it's not webinar based like this is. It's Zoom or Microsoft Teams based. Excuse me. So you're actually in with me. You can be on video, you can be on microphone, you can talk to me right like that, asking questions, taking notes, doing all of the above. We also like to have fun in there, maybe have a glass of bourbon, hang out. Otherwise, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the class. Noel, I do not have any code for credits right now because they are running that special with my 15% off. So there are no free codes right now for me for credits. This was mainly aimed at people who already have Evoto and were just looking for my workflow. But yeah, if there are no more questions, if there are no more insight, if you don't need anything else, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the class and sign out of here and send you on your way. Remember, if you need anything else, please hit me up on my Instagram. I am Josh Russell. It was at the beginning of the screen. Hopefully you signed up or followed me. It's I am Josh Russell on Instagram. I'm always there to try to help out. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me for this. Like, seriously, like, I love doing these webinars. I love every minute of it, every instance of it. Thanks, Lavelle. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Lori, for sticking around. All of you. Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for sticking around. And I'm going to continue to do stuff like this for the Evoto community because Evoto has been such a great business partnership, brand partnership with me. I love being an ambassador for them. I love the program. I love the people there. It's just been a great experience. So I will continue doing these. There are videos on my YouTube and stuff like that. But I hope to see all of you in the Photog Nation. I hope to see all of you tomorrow night in the live stream, asking me all your questions about portraits and about pets and about all of this. We do have the Photog Nation, which is a portion of the Discord where you could post photos of your dogs. So we have the Photog Nation. But I'm going to get out of here now. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of the night.